right, morning everybody. It's Dr. Ramsey with RPS. I have some new friends today to walk with. Coach Jackie's not with me today. Today we're going to take a new little twist on our Get Outdoors, and we're going to get outdoors and do some science. So I want to have my friends introduce themselves so that we can talk about what we're going to be doing today.
My name is Tyler Twyford, and I'm with James River Park.
And my name is Josh Behrman, and I'm the science specialist for the city of Richmond, K-12. And I'm so excited to be out here. Richmond has so many great parks, both in and out of the city. And today we're going to be with Tyler walking through LarusPark, which is on the south side. We are at the official south entrance at the corner of Old Holly and Beach Road. And there's another entrance over on Huguenot Road by Sneed's Nursery. You can come out here. There's great trails. We're going to look for some vegetation. We're going to look for some insects and some birds. And we're also just going to see what we can find.
All right, so look for us in the next segment of the Get Outdoors Science Edition.
Oh, and this is Ida.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. That's a tiger swallowtail.
So at the end of the last segment, you saw that Ida was really excited about a butterfly. She saw a tiger swallowtail butterfly, which is our state insect. There's so many great things to see in this park in our city. So let's go explore a little more.
We haven't made it very far into the park yet, and we've been stopped by the sound of a beautiful migratory songbird in our area. This is the tufted titmouse. It might be hard to see, but the tufted titmouse has a funny hairdo, and it makes a sound that a lot of people say sounds like it's saying chiba chiba chiba. So listen and see if you can hear the tufted titmouse.
All right, so Ida found a really cool plant here in the woods. This is called a trillium. You can see it's got this beautiful leaves and it's got this really interesting shaped flower. Now, I had never seen a trillium in Richmond before. So that's a big find, I think. If you are interested in knowing more about the plants around you and you have a smartphone, either an iPhone or an Android, there's an app called LeafSnap. And LeafSnap lets you take a picture and then it will identify the plant. So LeafSnap, if you're interested in the plants around you.
My name is Tyler, and I'm with the James River Park, and I wanted to share with you all some of the wonderful biodiversity we can find here in the James River Park system. This time of year, a lot of the trees are still, their leaves are budding out, so it's hard to tell which trees are which, but there are still some clues they'll give you, like their bark. Over here we have a paper bark birch. You can see the bark just exfoliating off of this tree. The smooth bark tree you'll see here, and this larger one a little bit further down. This is an American beech tree. It has incredibly smooth bark that people often like to carve their names into. Please don't do that if you're in our park system, because we all share this resource together. But again, this time of year, many of the trees' leaves will be in the process of budding out, and some of them will be fully developed. Aha! If you look very closely at the elm tree's leaves, you'll notice that the elm has a larger leaf margin on one side than the other. So if you see this leaf, the back part of the leaf looks a little bit uneven. The leaf's actually larger on one side than the other. So as you'll see, there are many different types of trees and many wonderful species here in our park, and we hope you'll find the time to enjoy them while you are at home. Many different species of insects and birds will use these trees to make their home. Up high in this tree, hanging over the trail here, we have a paper wasp nest. So this is a type of wasp that will construct its own nest, a little hive for them to live in communally. They are sheltered in place.
All right, so we found a little creek here in LarusPark, and you can see that there's little minnows hanging out by a rock. They might be munching on that algae on the rock. Minnows serve a lot of purposes. They eat small insects. They also get eaten by bullfrogs, by larger fish. They get used as bait by fishermen out at the river sometimes. And it's just so great to see so much natural life so close to the city.
So we've come across a stand of some mayapple. This is a low-lying vegetative plant. Looks almost like a tiny palm tree or a little umbrella. The mayapple typically will have two large leaflets like this. And as you can see here, this one's about to bud. It's going to have a little flower here. And this flower, when it becomes a fruit, it's actually a favorite food of box turtles. So this is a wonderful plant that we have that provides a lot of useful food resources for the animals that live in our park. Let's keep going and see what else we can find.
So the great thing about coming to a park like this is you don't really need to know the names of species, of trees, or of insects or animals. You can just look around and see what you see. Like in this shot here, I can probably count 15 different types of plants that we're looking at. And I may not know the names of all the plants, but I can tell that they're different by the leaf shape, by the type of bark, by how they grow, by their size. And it's a really good exercise, even if you're just at your house, sitting at the window, or in a yard, or at a park, to just sit for a couple minutes and count the number of bird songs you can hear, the number of different types of trees you can see, the number of plants you can see on the ground, the number of different types of insects. And we call that biodiversity, and it's a sign of really good health. So keep your eyes out for that while we explore this park. All right, so we found a giant rock here in LarusPark. Now, my guess would be that this rock is part of something called the Petersburg granite, which we have all over Richmond. If you've ever been down around Browns Island or seen the river, all those rocks in the river are all parts of the Petersburg granite. And the Petersburg granite formed over 350 million years ago, back when where we're standing right now was right along the equator and part of a massive continent. It was really swampy at the time, and it was really warm, and there were lots of really large animals. So the Petersburg granite formed a long time ago, and it formed underground, and we can tell that it formed underground because, and you've probably seen this, it has all of these crystals in it. All these beautiful large crystals. And when I say large, anything bigger than your thumb we would consider to be a large crystal. What we're seeing here is something called feldspar. And this is really well worn, but when it's newer, it's really pink. So if you ever see a rock that's got pink in it, like granite, that's the feldspar, and also the quartz. Of course, on this rock you can see some other things happening too. It's got moss growing on the rock, and there's lichen as well. And lichen is a really interesting organism because it's actually two organisms. It's an algae and a bacteria together. And they work in harmony. So all of these little light spots are actually a living organism. And they're actually a very good sign for air health. So when you're outdoors, around all these trees, you can see that the lichen mean we've got pretty clean air around here.
So we have a lot of interesting fungus here in the park. Fungal organisms like mushrooms will often live on decaying matter, where they'll utilize those nutrients to live their life. So this fungus here is a type of mushroom that's living on this decomposing beech log. And we have two different types of fungus here. We have one known as the false turkey tail mushroom, and another one, this is the real turkey tail right here. I'll bring these a little bit closer so we can check them out. The false turkey tail right here is completely smooth on the bottom, whereas the true turkey tail has these tiny little micropores. So here's the false, totally smooth. If you look very closely at the true turkey tail, you can see these tiny little pores in the bottom of this shelf mushroom. So that's how you can tell the difference. The false turkey tail mushroom is inedible. The true turkey tail mushroom is often used in traditional medicine. People would make a tea from this. Please do not eat any of the mushrooms you find in the park today. When you're out in the park and you're walking around seeing some beautiful things, take note of what you can see. But again, we recommend you do not eat any mushrooms that you find in the park. But it's something fun that you can check out and try to learn more about. So we turned a log over here and we found one of our wonderful amphibian friends here in the park. This is a salamander. This particular type of salamander is referred to as a lead-backed salamander. It's the same species. It has two color forms. The same species can often have a red back, and scientists are currently trying to study what makes this salamander sometimes have a red color and sometimes have a black color. That's an experiment that's currently going on in our park system. So be sure to check out our Science in the Park site on jamesriverpark.org if you're interested in learning more about scientific opportunities within the park. Salamanders like this actually breathe through their skin, so I'm going to do my best to not touch him too much and get him back to his nice cool environment where he can relax and feel safe. He's very similar to your frog friend. So keep in mind, it's great to have a look at these animals, but let's do our best to leave them in their place and let them return safely to their home. So we're going to put this log back down nice and gently, let the salamander get back to doing its thing.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming out here. Once again, I'm Josh Behrman. I'm the science specialist for Richmond's.
I'm Tyler Twyford from James River Park, and we hope that you will have a wonderful time getting out into the park and finding this as a place of comfort and stillness during these times.
Yeah, and we had a great time today at LarusPark. We saw all kinds of wildlife, all kinds of vegetation, salamanders. We heard pileated woodpeckers. We heard tufted titmouse, right? Tufted titmice, maybe. We saw mayaples and a trillium and all kinds of great stuff, including my personal favorite was the big rock. Ida, what was your favorite thing that we saw today? Mayaples and minnows. What about you, Tyler?
I would say my favorite was probably the salamander.
Yeah.
There's so many wonderful things to see in the park here in this beautiful urban wilderness. You can't even really tell when you're out here, but we are right in the middle of the city, surrounded by all the different highways and neighborhoods and waterways that help make our town so wonderful.
Get outside.
Get outside.
Oh, Dr. Ramsey.
I'm going to jump in from behind. So thanks guys for being the guests today. We appreciate it. It was a great science walk. I'm going to rock my institution where I got my doctorate, so I'm going to prep my Virginia Tech shirt. Oh, here we go. What's up?
Franklin Military Academy.
Franklin Military. There's your shout out. Okay, so we appreciate Ida coming along with us and checking things out. Keep looking for our Get Outside series. Stay healthy, stay safe, keep your distance, and we'll see you next time on our next edition.